I'm leaving for Canada in just about a week and was updating the website here, destinationhyperborea.com, with the route that I'll be taking. The first stop is in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and the last one up here at Ward Hunt Island. Here it is on Google Earth from Moose Jaw, Prince Albert, Wollaston Lake, Baker Lake, Gojahaven, Resolute. Probably stop here because I'm definitely going to Devon Island, aka Mars. But the last stop is Ward Hunt Island. And, Ward Hunt Island is in the middle of nowhere. It's at the very northern tip. There's practically nothing here. It was briefly a weather station, but since then it's been used for the starting point for a number of attempts to reach the North Pole, beginning with Ralph Plaisted in 1968 with his snowmobile expedition to the North Pole. And there's basically nothing on this island. There's a little airstrip so they can land and drop off supplies for the North Pole expeditions. But here's, field camp. Here's what it looks like out on Ward Hunt Island. And wouldn't you know, but the Prime Minister of Canada in 1975 took his 3-year-old son, Justin Trudeau, and Alexandre Trudeau, took him to this island. So Justin Trudeau's first visit to the high Arctic as a 3-year-old. And the reason they even know this happened is because some Canadian scientists found the plaque that says that Pierre, the Prime Minister of Canada, and his son Justin were here in 1975. Now, if anybody else would have done this, taking a 3-year-old child into the high Arctic, to a place where basically there's, it could even be life-threatening to stay out here for adults, let alone a 3-year-old child. But the big question is, what in the world is the Prime Minister of Canada taking a 3-year-old up to Ward Hunt Island for? What would be the purpose of that? And there's really no answer to the question other than they're making a stop. Of course, not at water, but my map being a little bit more accurate, that they made a stop at Ward Hunt Island because they were on their way to a nice retreat, probably where the weather is good, just a little bit further to the north. And that's the only point I'm going to be making in this video, is that there is absolutely no reason that the Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Trudeau, would take his sons, including his 3-year-old son, into the furthest northest reach of the Arctic. I mean, the child could barely walk at this point, but I can see no other answer for why this trip would have been made other than if they were going to go to somewhere for a nice vacation. And there is no place to go for a nice vacation all the way up here except the theoretical islands of Hyperborea, which only our historians say exists. And according to modern Masonic maps like Google Earth, we get this, which we should all know is a complete fake because it shows water when there is nothing but ice up here. So this is a complete CGI. And if you're curious just how far north we can see from satellite imagery, let's go take a peek. Okay, so here I've put a point on the map and it's at 78 degrees north. And if we zoom in at this point, we actually get just a sliver. Let me turn off the grid. Just a sliver of real photography. And you can see the fake blue ocean that doesn't exist and the factual ice which has been photographed. Now, one thing to take note here is that there is some type of man-made perfectly straight line with these dots. They look kind of like rivets or something like that. And if you draw a line, you can see there it continues on down here. It's a perfectly straight line. And with this grid-like pattern, I highly doubt that it's something which is created by nature when we have this repeating pattern of looks like rivets in a perfectly straight line. It's indication of man-made, something going on with this interesting little area here. But beyond that, we can see right here there is actually satellite imagery of the north at 78 degrees. And there's just a tiny sliver of it. You actually can't really see it until you zoom way in. Also going to point out that I don't know what these are, but they look like tire tracks. The problem is they're far too big for that. And on the ocean floor, and they seem to make these, turns. Here we get a 90-degree turn and then another turn up this way. And this area where he turned here, came down and went up, it almost looks as if there's some kind of a buried building right here. You could see a 90-degree angle and perfectly straight walls right here. Almost looks like there's another building underneath of it here. So I'm not sure if this is a submerged building, but it certainly looks like remnants of a lost civilization. And if it looks like a bulldozer is under the ocean just driving around down here. But I'm focusing more in on the sliver of reality, which is becoming less and less real at this point. There's no more ice. Now we just get these random image artifacts, which isn't real satellite photography, of course, which is some Google Maps kind of merging of the pixel data, and something's gone awry. But I know the ocean isn't real, but I'm having to go south now to get back down to where there is photography. You'll notice there is a massive black strip, and here the black strip ends. And the ice begins. So it's almost like here you can see the ice and the edge of the world, and after this is nothing but blackness and darkness. But this water is fake, and we know that there's ice on the sea up there. So this little sliver is kind of a little sliver of reality. But it ends right here, and further north of here, we don't get this picture of this ice. So the question is, how far north does Google Maps allow us to see? And that question is answered by looking at this point right here. I'm going to turn on the map, and we're at 79 degrees north. That's as far north as we could see as far as what is at the North Pole. From this point north, it's either fake Google water, or it's just this blackness and the JPEG artifacts, the pixel artifacts that we had seen above, but no real photography north of 79 degrees and 35 minutes north. And to give you an idea of how much of an area that is, it is all of this. So, perhaps the top of Greenland is accurate satellite photography, but as far as looking at what's in this area, we're not going to be able to see it. This ocean that's created by Google is completely fake, and we can see by looking at this sliver of reality down here that they stopped taking satellite photos of the North Pole area at 79 degrees north. So just like regular everyday parents who have 3-year-olds, a normal thing for me with my 3-year-olds would be just, let's take you to an area that's potentially life-threatening, even for adults who are well equipped with Arctic gear. But let's take a 3-year-old there. I think there's some strong evidence here that something is being hidden at the North Pole. But if you have a rational explanation as to why a parent would take a 3-year-old to an area like this, please put it in the comments below, because I can't quite wrap my head around it.